So the one talking point that we've heard from the right ever since Joe Biden has been in office is that Joe Biden is too old. Joe Biden can't complete a sentence. He stutters. He doesn't know where he is. He slips and falls down. He has dementia. He's in decline. He's not fit to be president. That's been their talking point ever since he's been in office, actually before he was in office. That's been what they've been preaching ever since. So you would think that they would practice what they preach. You think their guy, their front runner, would be a guy who was way younger than Joe Biden. You think he would be really physically fit. And you think he would be a very eloquent speaker who didn't have one gaffe and one slip up and one goof after another. But no, the front runner of their party is Donald Trump, who, by the way, is only 3 years younger than Joe Biden, who is not as physically fit as Joe Biden, and who has more slip-ups, more goofs, more gaffes on a daily basis, and they give him a pass for it every single time. Recently, he went out and he said that Republicans eat their young. Now, some people would argue and say, well, he misread his teleprompter. That's funny because the entire time he was in office, he talked about how Obama used a teleprompter. He always demonized Obama and everybody for the teleprompter, but now they're saying, well, he misread his teleprompter. Okay, I'll give you that. Let's say that he did misread it once. He continued to misread it. He continued to say it after the fact. He also, for some reason, keeps getting confused and thinking that Barack Obama is president. Several times he has said, why isn't Obama acting on Ukraine? Where's Obama on Israel? And he's had to be reminded, sir, Obama's not the president. Joe Biden is the president. He also thought that windmills kills whales. He thought Jeb Bush was the president and that he sent troops into the Middle East. And he said Biden started World War II. And every time you point these things out to Republicans, they say you're taking it all out of context. Well, no, we're not exactly. We know the exact context of everything he says because I think we actually listen to him talk way more than you do. You guys just sit back and wait for the talking points that makes you feel warm and fuzzy inside, whereas we're listening to what he's saying and actually holding him accountable for what he's saying. And we're also comparing what he says to what Joe Biden is saying. So for all of you out there that says Joe Biden can't complete a sentence, Joe Biden doesn't know where he is and all this crap, for all you that thinks that, the rest of the world is not saying that. The rest of the world is saying that Joe Biden is bringing people together. Because over here, you have Joe Biden saying, we have to reject hate at all costs. We have to stand up against racism. We have to stand up against homophobia. We have to stand up against Islamophobia and transphobia. He's saying those things. We have to stand up against anti-Semitism. He's saying these things. Meanwhile, Donald Trump is over here calling Hamas smart. Donald Trump is over here turning on Israel and criticizing Netanyahu. And he's doing so all because he's mad about the fact that Netanyahu praised Joe Biden. That's what it is. At the end of the day, it's all about Donald Trump. It's all about his feelings, how he feels about things, the attention he's getting. And when he heard Joe Biden being praised for what he's doing, he's upset. Now he's going to come in. He's going to start calling the other side smart. He's going to start demonizing everybody because that's the kind of low-life dude that this is. And it's absolutely sickening. And I don't care if Joe Biden stutters. I do not care if he stutters at all. I do not care if it takes him a minute sometimes to remember what it is he's going to say. I will sit there and give him all the time he needs to say what it is he needs to say if I know when he speaks, he's going to speak against racism. He's going to speak against hate. He's going to stand up for what's good for the American people. I'll give him all day. Before I will sit there and listen to Donald Trump sit there and continue to stoke the fires of this world. And everybody sit back cheering that guy on. This isn't a game, people. This isn't a joke. I know that you guys love to be entertained. I know that you guys, you loved watching him on Celebrity Apprentice. You love the whole "you're fired" thing. I know that you're treating this like a WWE event and you've got your Stone Cold shirt on and you got your beer and your signs and all that shit. But this is the real world, okay? This is the real world. And we have a president who I have never one time said was perfect. I never have said that I agree with him on everything that he's done. But he's a guy who at the end of the day has the best interest of all of us at heart, and not just people who looks like him and not just people who sounds like him. I do not want to live in a world where my party is strictly for people that looks and sounds like me. I do not feel that I'm free if people of color aren't. I do not feel that I'm free if the gay and trans community isn't. I do not feel that I'm free if women aren't. Those are all deal breakers for me. If I feel like that other Americans' rights are being stripped away, and I feel like that their voices are being trampled on, then I don't feel that's deal breakers for me. I can't be on that side of the fence. I can't debate that shit. For the people that sits back and says, boy, I'd love to debate you on this, I can't debate hate. There's not two sides to that story. I'm not going to sit and debate that with you. I'm not going to sit and debate women's rights being stripped away from them. It's not a debate to be had. It's fucking wrong. You know, it's clearly wrong. And so this whole idea of Joe Biden not being able to complete a sentence, it's all bullshit. It's bullshit talking points. And you got to always remember one thing about the right. It's always projection from them. Whatever it is they're accusing their side of doing, or our side of doing, whatever they're accusing our side of doing, that's what their side's doing even harder. Because they do that to take the attention off of it. But you'll never find consistency on the other side. You will never find logic or reason on the other side. You will never find facts. And they've sat here forever and told us all about the Joe Biden crime family, all about Hunter Biden. They've preached all of those talking points, and they've never had any evidence to lay down in front of us and prove a damn thing. So when the election rolls around, I realize what's at stake. And I realize that we must defeat Donald Trump at all cost. But it's not just about defeating him. It's about defeating this ideology that he has given birth to and that he has empowered. We have to defeat that type of ideology because it's one of the most dangerous ideologies that has come along in our country in a long, long time. And the people who are falling for it are people who is all about me and not about we. Those people are the ones falling for this hook, line, and sinker, and they're going to look around one day and every History Channel documentary that they ever watched and they ever got scared watching and thought, oh God, that could happen here. Everything they ever worried could happen here is going to happen, and they're not even going to realize it because they were sucked up into it. And that's not hyperbole. That's not me trying to get you riled up and get you scared. It's a cold, hard fact of life that we all have to wake up and realize. So for all you Democrats, all you liberals, all you progressives, all you independents out there who may not always be happy with Joe Biden's performance, who may not always be happy with every word that comes out of his mouth at the end of the day, you got to look at the alternative. And you got to realize that on one side, we have a guy, it may take him a minute to speak, but when he speaks, he doesn't spew hate. He doesn't spew division. He doesn't praise terrorists. He doesn't criticize our friends. That's what you have to look at versus this giant train wreck that's coming right at us. That's why we got to get to the polls, we got to vote, and we have got to defeat this dangerous ideology.